All right, guys, the Utah Jazz beat the Memphis Grizzlies in Summer League. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys. First, let's just talk about the Memphis Grizzlies before we talk about the Jazz, and let's just bring this up. So the Memphis Grizzlies were playing without a lot of their better players tonight, but that meant we got a good look at G.G. Jackson. He was one of those players that a lot of people were interested. Some people had G.G. Jackson in the draft slated as high as like top 10. He is that level of talent. He went a year early to go into this NBA draft, which was likely a mistake, because he was slated to be one of the top picks in next year's draft. He dropped like a rock, and there were some stories. There was that, I mean, we talked about it on draft night, but apparently there was this thing that went around about G.G. Jackson that he could not finish one of his workouts with one of the teams he was working out with, and was then after he couldn't finish the workout, they found him in the locker room vaping or something like that. Just not a great story. So that is why he dropped. He dropped to the second round, like way deep into the second round. And so he's one of those players where you can get him in the second round. If you're the Grizzlies, that's a no-brainer. That was a smart pick by them. And you can see why they did, because he had some stats in this one. So things that are good about GG. There's some other things to be worried about G.G. Jackson as well, but let's just talk about it a little bit. He goes 8 for 20 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3. This was right here was what was impressive. It's clear he has got a great stroke. He can shoot the ball for sure. He goes 4 for 9 from 3. He was perfect from the free throw line. He grabs 10 rebounds. So that right there, you see the potential. And it passes the eye test. When he shoots that ball, it just looks clean. And the thing that's nice is he's athletic and he's big. Like, he has good size. So he the tools are there, the physical tools, and really like the talent for him. He's just really young, and you can just see it. The shooting is there. The rebounding's there. He scored 23 points. I mean, he was really able to score the ball, so it's just a good sign, especially for a second round pick. And like we said, this guy was slated to go much higher and dropped like a rock in the draft because of those things. Now, the other thing to pay attention to, it's late, I'm sorry. He had 0 assists, and I believe he has 0 assists in all 3 games of Summer League. And that was the thing to worry about with him, is can he pass the ball? The pass button is broken on the G.G. Jackson controller, I guess. I mean, he took some bad shots in this game, which is, saying something considering he has a pretty decent percentage there. 8 for 20 is not horrible. You'd like that to be better, but it would have been better had he made some, passes. If he had passed it one time, and he doesn't. So that's why you see the 0 assists. The other thing is a minus 31 in this game. And a lot of that is the other worry with G.G. Jackson was, would he play defense in the NBA? He was not interested in college to play defense, and he did not look particularly interested in this game either. So we'll see. There's some maturity there. There's some basketball IQ there where, pass the ball. Honestly, if you're being double teamed, move the ball. And then the other thing is, can he play defense? Because he's got the physical tools, you can see, to do that. But, he's got to get in game shape, I guess. I don't know what it is. He is an enigma, and he could be it could be a real big bummer of a story if this guy doesn't figure it out. Because if he does figure it out, there is potential for him to be fantastic. It's just, he seems to be just kind of falling into bad habits and bad decisions. And we'll see, but the talent is definitely there. So he's going to be one of those guys that you watch throughout the season. But if he can't play defense and he doesn't pass the ball, I don't know how much we're going to watch and see him during the regular season. Maybe he figures it out. Maybe he starts showing real signs in training camp and stuff. But like I said, there's like the good and the bad with G.G. Jackson. And the good is the size, the talent, and you can already see the shooting is there. But then there's the other things, the not being in shape, not passing the ball, not playing defense. There's not a great attitude either. So we will see. It's going to be something to watch. And so, I'm rooting for him. You'd like to see him do well because, he's got all the tools to do it. But the question is, does he choose to do it? All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. The two players we talk about with the Utah Jazz, and we've been talking about it all 3 games in Salt Lake City Summer League because we have not gotten a chance to see Taylor Hendricks. I really, really hope he plays in Las Vegas. It would be really nice to see, but man, that thigh injury, I don't know if he pulled his, I don't know what it is, but it's kept him out, and it's a bummer because it would be nice to see. But no Taylor Hendricks, no Bryce Sensabaugh. And so it's been the Keyonte George and Ochai Agbaji show, and actually that's been really fun to watch. Let's just start with Ochai Agbaji. He's been solid through NBA Summer League, and I think one of the things to remember with Ochai Agbaji is that he's doing things in Summer League that you're likely not going to expect from him during the regular season. With the ball in his hands, he's not going to have that as much. He's going to play off of other players for the Jazz more often. But what we are seeing from him is that he can handle the ball. He can do some things with it. He has 4 assists in this game. The thing that's really impressive with Ochai Agbaji is just how much he does athletically. He came into this Summer League and he is just in elite physical shape. The guy looks like absolutely an action figure. He is just ready to go, and his athleticism is just through the roof. I mean, you see it with his rebounds. Tonight he had 13 rebounds, and he's playing shooting guard. That's impressive stuff, and that shows you what he's doing with that body. Holy smokes. So the guy has physical tools and athleticism that is just even better this year than it was last year. So 13 rebounds right there is absolutely a sign of that. He had a blocked shot again in transition. He's had it like 2 nights in a row where he gets just an insane block in transition. It's to the point where he's one of those guys that if you see him close to that guy driving to the hoop in transition, he is going to block it because he can absolutely sky high block, jump. I can't speak. It's that good. It leaves you speechless. But anyways, just fantastic. One other thing that was impressive about this game with Ochai Agbaji is he starts the game 1 for 10 and ends it 8 for 20. That means he, even though the shooting wasn't quite there, and we're still seeing a few things with the 2-point shot, it's not quite there yet. There's some development there that he needs to do, but he still figures it out. And a lot of that shooting was with the 3-point shot. He shoots 5 for 13, 4-3 to finish the game. So he is knocking those threes down. He is shooting it at an impressive clip in the second half. So we're going to see games from Ochai where he just shoots it lights out. And I think in games where he's not, we can see that he can still contribute in games. He's a 3-and-D player, an elite one already, but we're seeing that he can do some other things. And, if at worst Ochai is shooting threes and knocking him down, I think he's shooting 41% from 3 for all of Summer League, which is impressive considering the types of threes they have him taking. He's going to still be able to do a lot of other things, especially on the defensive end. His defense was impactful tonight. You go watch, and the guys he was guarding were struggling to shoot the ball. He's becoming a better defender. And like we said, 4 assists. He can handle the ball a little bit. He moves the ball within the offense. So that Ochai is not just simply, if he can't hit his threes, then what good is he? He's not that. He's doing more. And the Jazz are developing him, and it's nice to see. And the confidence is just growing. So he's just a fun athletic player. He can throw down a lob. We saw one of those from Keyonte to Ochai, just sky high, can get up there, put the ball down. It's just fun. He's just a fun player to watch and can do so many different things. And that athleticism means that he's going to be playing multiple plays every night that just kind of make you go, whoa, whoa. Let's see. We won't need Ochai to score in the mid-range. From Austin R. Grant, one of the all-stars. He's going to be a great rotation player, though. We're going to be so fun in transition to this year. Absolutely. Can't wait to see the starters back. Yeah, this Jazz team is young. So Ochai Agbaji in transition, like Austin says, fantastic. And yeah, what you're saying is absolutely true. He does not need to have the ball in his hands when the season starts. But what's nice about Summer League is that he's showing that he can, and it's allowing him to kind of grow and make mistakes and figure out what he can do, what he can't do. I can't remember. I was listening to Ryan Russillo today, and there was a guy on there, one of the NFL guys from The Ringer, talking about Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and talked about the interceptions they have in training camp. And people are like, how people will come out of training camp saying, oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers with this many interceptions, what's going? And he's like, no, what that is he's testing his limits. That's like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes when they have those interceptions in training camp. What they're doing is just seeing what they can do with their new crop of receivers, you know? And it's kind of the same idea with what Ochai Agbaji is doing with the ball in his hands. What he is doing is testing his limits. What can I do? What can't I do? That's what's so great. You know, we're looking at stats and assists and all these things, and we want these guys to perform really well. But for someone like Agbaji, who we know what he is there something more? This is the time where they're being able to practice those things. Can he pass the ball? Can he get assists? And we're seeing that he can do it a little bit. So all this does is help him out. It's testing his limits like we talked about with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Same goes with Ochai Agbaji. He is just testing his limits. That's what this coaching staff is doing, and it's great to see. And it's obvious that they are having him shoot that ball when he gets it. They want him to shoot the ball. And in the season, they're going to want him to do that too because he is a great shooter, you know? So 5 for 13 from 3, exactly what you want to see. The defense, and then just seeing this rebounds and assists is really cool to see. And then just 22 points and a plus 18. That's the defense showing up. So really nice to see. The other guy that we just want to talk about is Keyonte George. Now, there's 2 things to be excited about with him. 2 things with Ochai, 2 things with Keyonte. So let's see. Look at this, 2 for 11. The shot was not falling, and a lot of that was just the 3-point shot was not there. And a couple of these were, you know, later in the game. He had like tweaked his ankle, and 2 or 3 of these were post-tweaked ankle. So I don't know. This is not something I'm too worried about because you can just tell with his shooting it is there. Let's see. Austin R. Grant. It's also clear the Jazz want to have a positionless team, so it's great he's working on handling the ball. Exactly. This Jazz team is going to have a lot of sets where it doesn't really matter if you're the point guard or not. You know, there's no real point guard. There's ball handlers, there's shooters, there's rebounders, and everyone does everything. Basically, can you pass, shoot, defend? You know, pass, shoot, dribble on offense, and can you defend on defense and switch and, you know, multiple things, multiple tools. It doesn't really matter. If you can do multiple things, then you find your way onto the court. If you can't do multiple things, it's hard for you to get on the court with this Utah Jazz team. Anyways, so I guess let's talk about some of the bad with Keyonte George. One, there were multiple plays where I saw him kind of fall asleep on defense, and that's just got to get better, and I'm sure Will Hardy will not allow that. And so if he wants to get on the floor, he's going to need to defend. But he can. One thing, if you go watch closely on those Baylor games, and if you watch him closely, especially in the half court, he can defend, and he's big. Honestly, 6'4". I was looking at him next to Ochai Agbaji, and he looks very much similar to that same height as Ochai. So he's got the size to be able to do it. And when you watch him closely. Don't just watch the bad, but make sure and pay attention. That's why sometimes going and rewatching a game is a good idea. And then just go look at a player. What is he doing? Go rewatch the game, and you'll see him defend and do a solid job, especially in those first 2 games. I was noticing him do some nice things in half court. And that's, you know, transition defense people will talk about a lot, but you've also got to be good in half court. If you want to be a great NBA team, you know, transition defense is important, but if you can't defend in the half court, you're a bad defense. You know, the worst teams in the NBA can't defend in the half court because that's where you can absolutely should be able to defend. If you can't defend in the half court, then you're screwed. And he can defend in the half court. And you know, once you can defend in the half court, then that's when you're like, can we also defend in transition? Can we defend in these other different ways? You know, but most important is half court, because if you can't do that, then you can't guard anyone. You can't do anything. So he can guard in the half court, but we've got to see better effort. You know, you want to see effort 100% of the time. And, you know, not every player all season long, 82-game season is going to give the greatest effort 100% of the time. But you've got to do it a majority of the time. And you've got to do it. Sometimes players have to figure out when is the time to put on the gas, when is the time to kind of to understand when, you know, players like, you know, a good example of this is Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles did not give 100% all the time, but he knew when you put on the gas. And he knew when that you put it in cruise control, you know, you preserve your energy. And also there's a little understanding of where to be, positioning, things like that. He'll learn those things, but those are things that take time. It's not easy. NBA basketball is complex. It's more complex than it's ever been. It is more difficult to defend than it's ever been. And so it just takes time. Guards are going to be constantly being screened. There are going to be times where people are going to screen, so Keyonte George gets isolated and things like that. And that's when that's when it's going to be proving grounds. So we'll see. But anyways, I've talked about that enough. Holy cow. 2 for 11 from the field. The shot was not falling. This is not something I'm all that worried about because we know he can shoot the ball. Those are the kind of the two things, the bad, but the good. Okay, let's go. 5 assists for Keyonte George. The passing is really solid. It's really good. Guys, it's time to get excited. Let's see. Austin R. Grant. How nice is it knowing Hardy will actually develop these guys? Quinn would have let them rot out of the NBA. We're so lucky. Absolutely. These guys are playing. Do you think Ochai Agbaji would have played last year with Quinn Snyder? No way, Jose. No way. No way at all. But anyways, 5 assists for Keyonte George. The passing is impressive. I was thinking about it while watching the game. In college, and you can go watch some of the videos from like who is it? Box N1 and I can't remember the other guy that I like to follow, but they talk about it a lot that in college, his assist to turnover ratio wasn't that great. He would try to make kind of the highlight pass, the complicated pass, and it would get turned over a lot. Well, in the NBA, there's better spacing. There's more separation between players. You've got players that can sit in the three-point line and knock it down, and the three-point line's expanded. So there's just more space. Those thread the needle passes are connecting. Look at this. 5 assists to 1 turnover. That right there is exciting. That right there is where you see a guy that can make the right pass. He's not turning the ball over. He's putting the ball within the offense. I bet you the Jazz are pretty excited about this. 5-1, are you kidding? I mean, that's elite level assist to turnover ratio. If you're playing Call of Duty and your kill death ratio is 5-1, you're pretty happy because that's 10-2. That's 15-3, right? That's a guy you want on your Call of Duty squad, okay? Keyonte George with the 5-1 assist to turnover ratio, pretty awesome. And it's something that I kind of want to start watching. Can he continue that? Because you know what? That's not that easy in Summer League. You've got so much frenetic basketball going on. You've got so many different guys. I mean, he turned that ankle because that one guy's going at him crazy. You've got all sorts of guys trying to prove their way onto an NBA squad. It's like guys going for it. And for him to do 5-1 assist to turnover, really nice to see. 6 rebounds, some of these, I don't know, just kind of fall into your lap. But so this right here is exciting, guys. He can pass the ball. Absolutely. So this question of could he play like as a primary ball handler? Because like we're talking with Austin, it's positionless. I think he's proving that indeed with time, he can definitely be and maybe he already is. Honestly, he's kind of looking like it. He can be a primary ball handler. I'd like to watch him in the pick and roll more. It really feels like in this game, the Jazz were running lots of sets. You see them kind of setting up different plays to run different actions. I saw him running like 3 or 4 actions kind of over and over. Things where it's like different options where, hand it off to the pistol action, guy at the top, dribble handoff. Keyonte went multiple times driving the rim. Did not get the ball. That the option did not give him the ball, but then it would go to Ochai Agbaji and he'd knock down the 3. So they were running a lot of set plays. I'm excited to see a little more of just very simple, isolated side pick and rolls. So can he get out there and run a pick and roll with Walker Kessler? How exciting would that be? Watching Keyonte George run a pick and roll with Walker Kessler, right? How exciting would that be? I want to see it. Shouldn't we see? I know he's too good. We didn't get to see him in Summer League last year, but wouldn't it have been fun to watch a pick and roll, at least one with Walker Kessler and Keyonte George? Come on. We're going to see it next. Maybe we'll see it next year, but I don't know what the starting situation for Keyonte George is. It may be a while before we get to see it, but when we get to see that first side pick and roll, Keyonte George, Walker Kessler, if they drop, Keyonte can knock down the 3. If they go over, what we're seeing in this Summer League right now that is really exciting is he can get to the hoop. So I think right now Keyonte George offensively is showing that he's got it, guys. I mean, I hate to get a little overly excited, but man, when you see what he's doing and his ability to shoot that ball, when he gets that consistent 3-point shot and he gets like a year under his belt of kind of getting those repetitions, shooting the ball in the pick and roll, just getting comfortable doing it. And then it just becomes habit and muscle memory and all these different things. And you get that chemistry with, Walker Kessler. Maybe you're running pick and roll with Taylor Hendricks or what's his name? John Collins, and you're running like a different style of pick and roll. Maybe you're running pick and pop. Maybe you're running a pick and roll, Spain pick and roll, baby. Let's just go technical, okay? Spain pick and roll, Keyonte George up top. You've got Taylor Hendricks and John Collins running a Spain pick and roll, which is a double pick. You have Keyonte George go this way. You have Taylor Hendricks back out. You've got John Collins go to the rim. You have triple option. You have John Collins either dunking the ball and Taylor Hendricks shooting the three. How do you guard it? And then you have Ochai Agbaji on one side and Lauri Markkanen on the other. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How do you guard it? I mean, that right there. I mean, I honestly, what Will Hardy's got to be just like, what's that? Is it Redman or Birdman gif? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. That's second unit for the Utah Jazz when Keyonte George runs that Spain pick and roll, baby, or horns action or whatever. Just simple pick and roll is going to be fantastical. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be exquisitary. All right? It's going to be good. And what we're seeing from Keyonte George is he can do all of it. That's what you want to see. Can he do it? Can he do it? And yes, he can. He can run the pick and roll. He can shoot the three. He can pass the ball. He's 6'4". That is one of the advantages also in this league. And that is why Danny Ainge and Justin Zanuck and why all the beat reporters and everyone is telling you that what the Jazz really want is size at every position. Why is that important? When you're 6'4", it's different than when you're 6'1", like Donovan Mitchell. Why? Because you can see everything, right? You can see everything. Nikola Jokic is the best passing big man in the league right now, and arguably the best passer in the league right now. What helps him? Well, one thing that helps him is that he's 7'1", so he sees everything. And the ball is 7 feet, 10 inches or 9 feet in the air when he's holding it. And so he can literally make every pass, boom, 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 boom. He can see all of it. Well, Keyonte George being 6'4" is also allowing him to do the same thing if he can see those plays. It's exciting. And I think he's big enough. 6'4" feels like the minimum to me. It's kind of like, can he be the minimum? And he's doing it. No, he can score the ball. He can pass it. He can run a pick. We saw him do a Chris Paul snake dribble. He can do that too. The handle is there. He is a hooper, as they say. He is a hooper's hooper. And it's fun to see. And so if he can just defend at an average level on the defensive end, especially in half court, holy smokes, the potential is there. He's 19, guys. 19. And we haven't even talked about the fact that he is an elite spot-up three-point shooter. So let's say, it's going to be interesting. I mean, man, the Jazz need at least two good ball handlers on the floor. And I don't think Ochai is really like a pick-and-roll ball handler. He is I can handle the ball in an emergency ball handler. But Keyonte George, 100%. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a little more from Lauri Markkanen. Can Lauri Markkanen take things to another level? That's really the thing. I mean, if Lauri Markkanen starts running a pick and roll, ooh, baby. That's where things get really exciting. Because if you have Lauri Markkanen running a pick and roll and you have Keyonte George, Taylor Hendricks, John Collins, those guys spotting up, are you joking? Are you serious? Are you serial right now? Are you kidding me? The offense is going to be nuts. There is a reason the Jazz were top 5 offense last year. My gosh, I would be shocked. Honestly shocked if the Jazz aren't a top 10 offense next year. There is just not a world where that doesn't happen. When you consider just Keyonte George, who's going to be a rookie, likely coming off the bench, are you kidding me? Taylor Hendricks, I mean, maybe Taylor Hendricks just sucks. I don't know. Maybe he'll just flat out suck. And maybe John Collins' finger just does not completely heal. I saw a clip, someone on Twitter showed that it's still a little big, but he did shoot it much better post All-Star break. Can someone get go stick a needle in his finger and just suction out whatever's in there. Come on. But anyways, the shooting on this Jazz team is going to be ridiculous. The spacing. And like Austin said, this team is going to be good in transition like they hadn't been ever before within the Quinn Snyder era. Who was running transition for this team during that era? It was just an old team. I like Joe Ingles. I like Royce O'Neal. Those guys were not running an elite. I mean, I guess Royce O'Neal a little bit, but it was just a slow team. And Quinn Snyder did not preach those things. He preached fouling, whatever. We're forgetting about that era completely. But right now, this Jazz team will absolutely get in transition. Are you kidding me? Ochai Agbaji, Keyonte George, how young this team is. John Collins. Lauri Markkanen is still just mid-20s. Walker Kessler is in his second season, and he runs the floor. My goodness. Taylor Hendricks. Jordan Clarkson's going to be like the old man on the team. And he's, are you serious? My goodness. And then Colin Sexton, we know what he plays with. By the way, there's lots of little rumors out there about him. Like that little, people saying things and whispers from the north, like they say in Lord of the Rings, whispers, quiet whispers in the dark, a growing sense that maybe Colin Sexton will be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe. We'll see if that's actually true. James, what do we have to do to get the black and copper trim jerseys as our throwbacks? I don't know. I think the throwbacks, I think we have 2 throwbacks this year. And one of them is the New Orleans Jazz Pistol Pete throwback. It's like that old, it looks like the note is kind of a little wonky. It's cool. Go look up Pistol Pete and just look at his jersey, and I believe that's one of them. And I think there's another one they're coming out with too. But they're 2 purple jerseys. They should be fun. I like the Pistol Pete one. I might have to get, I don't know. I have obviously a Donovan jersey. I have a Rudy Gobert jersey. I may have to get, I don't know who I would get. Maybe Lauri Markkanen? I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments. Who would you get of this season with the new jersey? But that's all I got really tonight, guys. I mean, Micah Potter, he played for the G League last year for the Jazz. He's showing he can still just light it up from 3. Luka Samanic has quietly had a really nice summer league. So I think he's for sure going to just stick on this team. Definitely can be kind of a plug and play player. I don't think he's going to get huge minutes. I think he's mostly going to be end of the bench, but he can play and he can knock down the 3. He didn't take any tonight, but he can absolutely play and give you 5 to 10 important minutes if you need him. Luka Samanic is a break the glass player. And what I mean by that is it's like when in emergency, break the glass. And that's kind of what Luka Samanic is going to be. I don't know. Johnny Juzang, it was nice to see him hitting shots. So 15 points for him. He can absolutely shoot the ball. He is definitely trying to show that he can be efficient. A 6 for 9. Nice. But yeah, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, solid stuff from Johnny Juzang. So, and I believe Joey Hauser was their new 2-way contract guy. So he'll probably be playing a lot with the G League. So I don't know. Vernon Carey Jr., I think he was like a end of the year pickup last year for the Jazz. Probably wrote about it. I can't remember. Anyways, that's all I got tonight, guys. But really fun stuff. I am excited for Las Vegas Summer League. What can we do to see Taylor Hendricks play for this Jazz team? I would do anything to see that. But let's see. Crud, I didn't bring it up. Bring up our All-Stars. These are the guys and girls that make this possible. By the way, guys, thank you so much. It's been a long summer. I am really excited to be doing these shows. I am excited to do Summer League. I am going to be trying to do videos throughout this, July and August, just to get ready for the season and just to have content going up for you guys. So anyways, thank you for supporting the channel, especially the All-Stars. So let's give them a shout out. Shout out to Christian House, Money to Haas, Baby Elliott Matson, Ezekiel Raicibe, the man from down under. See ya, Lexa later. Built Ford Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Jordan the Goat, Best Roll, TGD, Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, X marks the spot for Zintas, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, DW to CB, Darren Williams, the Carlos Boozer, Patrick Kakubo, the Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And let me know in the comments, what jersey are you getting? Is it Lauri Markkanen? Is it Keyonte George, Ochai Agbaji, Walker Kessler maybe? I don't know. Anyways, I'll